I think you danced very nicely, dear.
You think so? I don't know. I really don't want to go.
Are you stepping out on us, sir? Oh, Mom, looks like you and I really waiting for that shelf now with Edgar.
Not a bit of it. There's some dancing he left yet. Come on, Edgar. Let's show him.
Mom, I think I'm supposed to leave.
Edgar, can't you two-step? Seems funny to have Edgar going off to parties. I sure wish Mary Lee had some nice party to go to. Might help take her mind off deciding what she's going to do next year.
What happened to all our old friends?
Oh, they've gone away or got married. And the ones who are still around, she kind of sort of lost touch with. I tried to get her to start a little bridge party or something, but she wasn't interested.
Oh, I saw Ted today.
Did you? Oh, he's such a nice boy.
Yeah, I told him if he wasn't doing much later on tonight, he'd come over and play with the bridge.
Dad, you're slyer than I thought.
Well, I'd be sly. I just thought.
That's all right, Dad. I can see right through you. So what did he say?
He said he might drop around.
Well, why didn't you tell me so I could stir up some refreshments?
Well, I just thought.
I don't know, is that tell Mary Lee, I guess.
Of course not. You don't have to tell me that. Oh, hello, dear.
Oh, that's a pretty dressed daughter.
Well, thank you, Daddy. Well, I've done it.
What have you done?
I wrote him to tell him I'm going to take the teaching job at Clarenceville next year.
Oh, do you have to decide so soon?
Well, I really ought to decide one way or another. Besides, what's the use of waiting? I've really got to do something. I can't just stick around here next year.
Well, daughter, don't feel like you have to take it if you don't want to.
Well, Daddy, it's not so much that I don't want to take it. It's just I'm not excited about it. Clarenceville is such a teeny town. There's probably nothing to do there. But one good thing, I can come home some weekends.
You know, I've been thinking, well, if you like to go and do a little bit more school, well, I guess your mind, I can manage it.
Oh, Daddy, you're sweet, but I wouldn't feel right about it. It's time you stopped doing things for me and I started doing things for you.
No, daughter, that's all right. That's all right. I guess your old dad can still take care of you. I just want to make sure that you're doing what you want to do. Are you sure you're set on going to New York?
No, I don't think I'd like to go there anymore. It's just so big and I don't know anybody there.
Well, what about Arnold? He's there.
Well, yes, he's there, but I haven't heard from him in 2 months. And you know, I'm just beginning to realize I don't care if I ever hear from him again. He got so bossy towards the end. You would have thought he owned me. And if I didn't agree with him, he would just say I was stupidly middle class. And I told him once or twice I didn't mind if I was middle class, and I didn't think it was so bad. And then he wanted me to cut out all my old friends, and I just wouldn't do it. And so we were always fighting about it. And I mean, I like my friends, even if they aren't geniuses or anything. Sure it's gonna feel funny not going back to see him next fall.
Well, I guess there's someone at the door.
Probably somebody to see your father on business.
Well, look who it is.
Why, Ted, wherever did you from?
It's real nice for you to stop over and see us. Real nice.
How's work, Ted?
About the same, Miss Lewis. You ready for a little bridge?
Oh, no. I think it's a little warm for bridge, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a little warm.
My Daddy, that's the first time I ever heard you turn down bridge.
I've been trying to get your dad to take me for a little ride. How about it, Dad?
Ted, what would you do if you were my place?
I reckon I'll take her.
Come along then, Dad. We've got 3 men to do this, and then we can have the car.
Torch of Life. I've read this.
Have you? What'd you think of it?
I don't think it's much of it.
Really? I'm glad to hear you say that, because I don't either. Everybody in it's so selfish, and nothing ever seems to come out right. I'm getting tired of all these books that are so critical, sort of making fun of all the real values.
Really? Showing off, Mary Lee? Well, so am I.
Really? Well, I'm glad to hear you say that, because it's nice to talk to someone that's got some sense. All these silly college boys just talk and talk, but they don't really know anything.
Well, I don't know so much.
Oh, you do too. You've been out in the real world really doing things.
Well, Mary Lee, you'll soon be out in the real world. When are you going to New York?
Well, I don't think I'm going anymore.
You're not? But I thought you said...
Well,
before.
I know I was, but I changed my mind.
Well, what about that friend of yours? Is he going?
Arnold? Well, yes, he's there, but that doesn't make any difference to me.
Well, I'm happy to hear that you're not going to New York. You don't plan on staying down around here?
No, I've already have a job.
Hey, well, what doing?
Well, I'm going to be teaching English at Clarenceville.
That's great. That's right close to home. That's mighty fine.
Do you think so? I don't know. I just can't get excited about it. I mean, I ought to be happy I have a job, and I am, but I've been feeling like I don't amount to a whole lot lately. Have you ever felt so lost, Ted?
Yes, I have.
Have you? Why, Ted, you're the most understanding person.
Mary Lee, I've been mighty lonely.
Have you? Well, what about, I mean, well, you know what I mean.
Oh, you mean Ava. Yeah, well, me and her broke up a long time ago.
Did you? Well, that's too bad.
You really mean that?
What?
That is too bad?
Well, yes. That's it. If you found out you weren't suited for each other, though.
We weren't.
Well, then I think it's good you found out before. I mean, it's hard to break it off before you're married, but it's much harder afterwards. I think when a person gets married, they ought to stay married, don't you?
That's what I think.
Do you? Well, it's amazing how we agree on everything. I might be old-fashioned, but I just don't believe in divorce. I don't see how someone can just run around having one husband after another. I think that when you fall in love, you ought to stay in love and stick to the person. Of course, it's not always the husband that sticks to the wife.
Reckon you wouldn't be having those kind of problems, would you, Mary Lee?
Ted, you're teasing me. I told you that I don't feel like I amount to a whole lot lately.
I think you do.
Do you?
Mary Lee, do you think you're going to mind staying down around here?
Mind? Well, I like it here. I'm just beginning to realize how much I like it here.
Yeah, but you still think people should settle down and have a home?
Well, I never said that. I just think it would be terrible to have to wander around and never really have a home. Of course, I like to travel and all, but I really think a person ought to have a home.
Well, that's what I think. Yeah. Mary Lee, how'd you like to have a home with me in it?
Ted, you're teasing me.
Oh, I'm not teasing. I've never been more serious. Well, ever since you've been gone, I've never been able to get you out of my mind.
Why, Ted, to think all this time I didn't think you even liked me.
Yes, I have, Mary Lee. I always did. I just thought that you were the one that didn't care for me.
Why isn't it funny? You thought I was high-hatting you, and I thought you were high-hatting me, and all this time,
Well, all this time, what?
all this time, I never really thought of anybody else.
Do you really mean that?
That I didn't.
Mary Lee, honey, I missed you so.
Oh, no! For the love of Pete! What's all this?
Would you look at him in his new suit? Edgar, you look fit to kill.
Thanks. I didn't know the two of you got back together.
Worse than that, old man.
What do you mean?
How'd you like to take on a brother-in-law?
What are you talking about? How would you...
All right, if you won't believe me.
Oh, Mary Lee, you're serious? You're getting married?
Yes, we are.
Oh, for the love of Pete. Well, they're getting married.
Edgar, you hate yourself.
I'm not kidding. Ask me, you don't look at me.
Edgar's such a tease. Well, I do believe.
Well, I really was about ready to ask you and Mr. Lewis for your daughter's hand.
Only I've already given it.
Oh, well, for goodness sakes. I don't know what to say. Well, there's no one I'd rather have as a son-in-law.
What lousy me, I'm just so excited I don't know what I'm doing. To think that only an hour ago I was trying to decide on that job, and here I am getting married. Let's start a little house and get some furniture. And Mom, it's just come over me. I don't know how to cook. You're going to have to start right into it. Oh, Dad, did you look at that letter I put on the table? I'm going to have to write it and tell my teacher.
God, well, gee whiz, look at that.